you can't like really push track bikes and brag about, yo, I ride, but never touch the track, bro. So,
yo, why are you calling that right now?
Calling?
You're doing fixed gear, you're doing photography, you're doing video, you're pumping out on YouTube.
For me, that's the vibe about coming on the podcast today, is just recharging and bringing in people who want to ride fixed gear bikes. You know, it's like...
Welcome back to Get a Grip episode. I'm not sure how they're coming out now, so we're filming now. Last couple episodes, I feel like we've beat a dead horse with Toronto cycling news, because apparently the only thing that's really happening is elections and who's gonna strike the bike lanes or add them in, or who knows. So this week we have the Steve Carty.
I'm Carty. I'm a professional photographer. Been a photographer since I was 20. I am not 20. I also make videos. 2012, I started All Fixed Gear, which quickly turned into the largest fixed gear weekly ride. I started a ride called Monday Night Rehab, where every Monday, fixed gear riders from all over would converge on our meet spot, and we would do 40-kilometer rides, 50-kilometer rides, 80-kilometer rides on Monday nights, come back, have beers. It's kind of fun. We're just about to start that back up, Monday Night Rehab. So it's All Fixed Gear on Instagram, allfixedgear.com website, and also, yeah, my personal. I've been a professional photographer since I was like 20. Through my career, I've been blessed enough to shoot Pharrell and Kanye and Daft Punk and Pete Rock and Radiohead and yeah, man, shot Daft Punk in New York City in 2001 when they were touring for their Discovery album.
Oh my God, classic. Okay.
Yeah, all this stuff. If you want to see work, you can go to stevecarty.com. I have extensive archives. I also have a YouTube channel where I help mentor the next generation of photographers. Also make video content, you know, I make videos weekly. I ride bikes, you know, I'm just,
everything.
I just do stuff, you know, I just do stuff.
I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, Monday Night Rehab. You guys ride track bikes and you're interested in a community of track bike riders that are super friendly, and also just, we ride together. I mean, yes, we can all go fast. Yes, I know you're super fast, and people like to come out and be like, yo, look at me, and rage, but this whole ride is about riding together and learning how to ride pace lines, learning how to ride two up, learning how to do single pace lines, learning how to push through the wind, doing echelons. Like, I train newer track riders how to ride a track bike like you're in Red Hook crit. So like doing pace lines and taking turns up front, how to pedal through corners, and like there's so much, I guess, coaching that I just naturally do when we do these rides. Like, it turned people into bike racers, you know what I mean? And then of course we have sections that is like an open section and that we just open up, and if you're like really quick, that's the spot where it's like, okay, now from here you go rage, and then we'll meet you at the meet spot. So it's really cool ride. And at one point there was 60 riders coming, raging fixed gear bikes from here to Port Credit, from here to Oakville and back.
Are your rides usually that long, or?
Our rides are like 50K.
That's a nice
So
distance,
we go from here to like Port Credit Starbucks and then back. And I just, over the 11 seasons of doing it, the routes that we have are like, oh, you want a flat route? Cool. You want a fast route? Cool. You want to climb? Cool. Like, we have like these different routes. It's called rehab because it's like rehabbing bad cyclists and kind of teaching them how to ride like a little bit more like a pro.
I was wondering. Yeah, I was like, where did the name rehab come from?
Helps you ride a little bit more like a, and again, it's like, once you learn how to ride efficiently, when you learn how to stay out of the wind, when you learn how to draft, like, we're a team. Like, it's so like, and these guys that I've like been riding with for so long, it's like we're riding with our wheels like this far apart, and like,
that gives me anxiety, man.
And literally ducking out a little bit so the wind hits us, so we slow down a little bit, and then like ducking back into like it's just,
everything's so tactical.
It's about efficiency. And this is why I say, like, when it comes to like riding bikes, like, I'm more like a coach. I teach people how to like bike position and like bike fit. It's like, yo, your seat's too high. Oh, really? It's like, yeah, dude, you can see blah, 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 blah. Your stem's too long. Like, you're reaching, like all these things, like you can just spot seeing people's body language on a bike. But once people like kind of get their body fit, you can see like when people find that, and they're wearing clips, and it's like, where people come and they're wearing straps and you're like, yo, bro, like you got the like clips.
Let's go.
It's just because you're so much more connected to the bike, and then it's like, oh my God, you ride brakeless, and it's like you try to explain to people like it's yes, I do. I ride brakeless.
My parents worry about me nonstop when I start posting the Tyrant videos and everything. They're like, there's a brake on your bike, right? Like, and I'm like, no, mom. Like, I've been riding this for a while, and like, I'm fine, you know. So let's just say you're watching this video right now. You're like, oh man, Monday Night Rehab. Damn, that sounds interesting.
Monday Night Rehab.
What tips would you have for anyone that's like maybe a single speed commuter, or like maybe they're not a regular rider? Like, how would you recommend them getting started?
The whole idea is if you ride a single speed, it's usually a flip-flop hub, meaning like one side it coasts, and if you take the back wheel off, turn it around, the other side is fixed. So you can flip your wheel over. I wouldn't recommend just doing it on your own, just because the lock ring, which tightens that cog onto the bike, if it's never been ridden, I'd recommend bringing it to bow, having them convert it for you from single speed to fixed gear. Make sure everything is tight, because it's a tricycle on two wheels. Your drivetrain, your chain, and the components that drive the bike forward is how I also stop. So a fresh chain, all my lock rings and everything tight, like that kind of stuff. You don't just jump into riding fixed gear bikes if you've never done it. Like, bring your bike to the shop and have them flip it over. If you're riding a geared bike, like the way that I describe it is, these bikes have no systems except for the drivetrain, meaning chain, rear wheel, cranks. That's it. There's no gears, there's no brakes, so there's nothing to brake. There's nothing to maintain. And by the way, everybody who is riding a geared bike is walking through here, going to the bike shop to have that geared bike continually tuned, because all it does is like, and like you hit your derailleur and it goes from this to this, and now it's like you derail. Like all you're doing when you have a geared bike is continually maintaining gears, brakes, gears, brakes, gears, brakes, gears. And then what happens is you ride in one gear because like the cables are loose. You can't shift anymore, blah, blah, blah. So now guess what? You're riding the same bike that I'm riding, only it's lighter, faster, it looks better. You know,
and I think the only maintenance you really need to do is like flip your tires, or like new tires if you're riding for your skid patches.
It's tires, it's tires and a chain. Like the thing that I buy the most is chains. Like I buy a new chain like twice a season, and that's it.
Just on the topic of fixed gear, because when I was a food courier back in like, I don't know, 2017, 2018, and like just going through like college and everything, I think all fixed gear is one of the first pages I saw like that were really fixed gear oriented, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. And then, I don't know, I wanted to ride fixed gear at the time, but I was still on a single speed front brake type of thing, and then I eventually slowly got into it, and I mean, you probably have a little credit there, so
thank you, man. Well, it's I like to think that I've put a lot of asses on bikes that have no gears, no brakes, that pedal backwards. It's just fixed gear bikes, it's like freedom. There's no other way to describe it. When riding a fixed gear bike, it's like it reminds you what it first felt like to ride a bike the first time. So, I mean, we all learn how to ride a bike when we're young. Like, I think I learned when I was like 7 or 8, but that feeling kind of goes away. Like, once you learn how to ride a bike, you just ride bikes and you just move around the city, and that's kind of what you do. But getting into track bikes and riding bikes that don't coast, the amount of focus that has to happen when you're riding a track bike, it just puts you into this flow state. And once I experienced it for the first time, like back in 2011, I think I've been riding track bikes since
decade and a bit,
So, and then I started all fixed gear in 2012 and started weekly rides. Yeah, I mean, I have a bike sponsor,
which is Tyrant.
Hey,
Tyrant Bikes. Yeah. Shout out Sal one time.
I get to ride the new Kagaro. Like, I have this bike. It's Kagaro. By the way,
I've been saying Kagaro.
Yeah, it's Kagaro, and it's actually
I've been riding the bike for a year.
If you talk to Saul, Saul will say it's actually Kagaro, and it's and Kagaro is a female Japanese warrior. That is what it stands for. That's what the name of the bike comes from. Kagero.
Noted. Okay.
Yeah,
noted.
And again, I know this because like I'm an insider.
Okay, that's actually going to lead me to my next point. Did you have a hand in like the design? Because I noticed on pretty much all of Tyrant's
posts I'm
that I'm not like posted.
Yeah, it's mentioned in collaboration with Pedal Consumption, Emmy Brown, and Steve Carty. Like you see that.
Tell me about your hand in that. Like,
well, I'm not involved in the design, but where I am involved, the inspiration to start again. Because Saul, when his bike brand was basically stolen, which is like Leader Bikes, he ended up selling Leader Bikes for, I mean, he grew it to a multi-million-dollar company. And then it was basically pirated bikes everywhere, defects. And then these defects were happening that were pirated, and then they're going back to him to fix these defected bikes that he wasn't even like getting a profit on. Like it killed his company. I was involved with him during that time. Saul, many people don't also know that Saul is a humanitarian, and he also has pancreatic cancer that he's survived. And he invented a bike called the Cure. It was the Leader Cure. And every dime that he made from that bike, he gave to cancer research. So he's just a good person. And when I heard that this was happening with his brand and he had to give it up, I convinced and believed in him that he could start again and continue. And I told him what the bike that he makes, the brand that he starts, the day that he has a bike physical, I will ride that bike, I will rep that bike, and I will work on getting your brand into Canada.
And that explains why I have Tyrant at Bikes on Wheels, I guess. Well,
beautiful.
Dude, thank you so much. Guys, as always, like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, hopefully Steve here has inspired you to maybe pick up a fixed gear or come out for a fixed gear ride on Monday, 7 p.m. Trinity Bellwoods.
Yeah, man. Bellwoods main gate.
Comment if you want to know more about Steve Carty, if you want him back on for another episode. What'd you think? You know, like, let us know. And as always, Toronto, I mean, actually, I guess this time, like, get a grip. I feel like this was a more chill conversation. I usually just yell it. That's been a Get a Grip, guys. We'll catch you in the next episode.
Thanks, guys, for watching.
Peace.